So I think I'm thinking of maybe bringing MSTR to membership only, maybe like 3 videos a week, and then maybe one public one that kind of just goes over the weekly price action. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. It's just to keep like troublemakers out, not serious people. So if you guys are interested in like a membership only MSTR video, maybe like 3 times a week. We go in depth about the day, where price is headed, where we think the bottom's going to be. Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I do have a trading view description. Now is a great time. They do have a Black Friday sale going on as well. And if you guys want a custom chart analysis done and you want it guaranteed, you can leave a donation below. I get hundreds of requests. I don't have time to look at all of them. But if you want to guarantee you get a professional chart review done, then you can leave a donation below. Link in the video description below. So let's begin the analysis for MSTR. Well, it basically closed at the lowest point in this entire downtrend that's dated back to, you could say, July of this year. And technically, you could even say since November 21st of last year. So basically, 1 year later, we are in a bear market, right? From the all-time highs, it's been a 1 year bear market, more than a 1 year. We are lower than we were in October of last year. So this is year over year lower, right? Even more than that. So this is the lowest point we have seen MSTR reach dating back to October of last year. So definitely a bear market in play. We're making significant lower highs and lower lows. We have a high right here and a low and a low, and then a lower high and now a lower low. So definitely a downtrend in play. Maybe we can draw a channel on this. It could tell us where the next low might be. Yeah, if you do like a wide channel like this is targeting right around 130s before maybe we see a bounce. We can get rid of this range. I don't think this is going to be in play any longer. And I'll remove the arrows just to make it more simple. There's a target at 147. Actually, I do want the arrows back on. So we keep the arrows on. We'll get rid of this trend line because it's not really in play right now. But yeah, this is what we need to look at right now. It looks like price is making significant lower highs and lower lows, and is tracking towards the opposite side of this channel, which is right around 145, 150 to even about 130 at the potential low point. So MSTR is still in trouble. A lot of traders are taking shorts because they look at the chart and the chart is in a downtrend, so they want to ride the trend, which is down. So that's why we continue to see price drop. Now, I'm not saying we won't see a relief rally. I think it's definitely due very soon. We could come back all the way to the 235 level. I'm not saying we're going to go down in a straight line. That's just not typically how the market works. Very rarely you'll see the market just continue to crash down in a straight line. You will definitely see pullbacks, in the correction, in the reversal lower. So it looks like we're headed down lower anytime now. Next week or two, we could probably see a strong bounce up, scare a lot of the shorts, probably see a nice pump up higher, but there's still a lot of resistance overhead for MSTR to face for this to continue in a sustainable bull market. So as right now, it does look like this is pretty much a top. And if it is a top, you can draw like at least an 80% drop from there. So high to 80%, that takes you to about $100, right? So I think at the lowest, this will probably at least reach, or at the minimum, probably $100, right? I mean, you can't guarantee it, but just being reasonable, if the last bear market high to low was 90% plus, this can go to 80%. Some holders are not going to be selling, so the floor gets higher. Just like for Bitcoin, long-term holders, there's more long-term holders that come in every year, and the floor gets moved up higher, right? They're not willing to sell. So same thing for MSTR. I believe that there's going to be more long-term holders. I don't think it's going to be realistic to expect 90% again. It can, but I don't think it will. I think 80% is pretty reasonable. So that's low 100s. So we're almost there technically, and we might even surpass that and be in this box for maybe a brief moment of time. So that's how I'm seeing MSTR play out in the future. That's in the longer term, sometime late next year possibly. But in the meantime, we're basically at the lows of the downtrend that started back last year. It really started picking up this year in July. We're attempting to reach a measurable target, which is almost acquired, which is right around 145, 150. Probably see some sort of bounce right around this area. And also coincides with being at the lower side of the channel as well. So we'll see if this if this has any effect on the prices. So again, just still bearish until proven otherwise, right? The market doesn't care about good news. I'm pretty sure you've been in stocks before where news are good and it continues to drop. Well, why? Because there's a better explanation for that drop, which is the technicals, right? There's nothing surprising here, right? I mean, there's really nothing surprising. Everybody keeps on saying S&P inclusion, blah blah blah, MNAV, blah blah blah, but that doesn't mean anything. When I look at the chart, it makes perfect sense to me why we are dropping. This is nothing. I'm not surprised when I see a drop. When I open up the chart, I'm like, okay, well, this is still going to be dropping lower, right? Unless you're a bystander and you don't know how to read a chart, you can be like, oh my god, why is MSTR continuing to drop every day, every week? Well, to me, it's pretty. It just makes a lot of sense, right? Why we are dropping. Anyway, that's for MSTR. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. This is the 7th straight red week in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So typically you'll get 7. I've noticed. I think maybe 7 is some important number in the market. I don't have any data to back that up, but typically next week I think has a good possibility of being green. Maybe we do dip down briefly, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and then it finally pushes up higher off like the 150 level. So I think a pullback is coming. I'm not expecting this to go, straight to $100, in a week or two. But I think that is probably going to be near the bottom of this cycle. And there might be a very good long-term play from there. I still believe in the company long-term. I think it's still very powerful, very strong. And I think it'd be one of the top 10 like most valuable companies in the world, if not maybe even the most. And picking up shares at like $50 or $100 for the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, I don't know. I'm willing to take that risk, right? I'm willing to take that risk. If you buy it $100 and it goes up to if it just goes up to the prior all-time high, right? Even if we get a double top there, if it just goes up to the prior all-time high, I mean, $100 to 550. I mean, you're almost 5xing whatever you invest. $50,000 gets you $250,000, right? $100,000 gets you $500,000. So I mean, there's some huge multiples that are possible with this stock in the next cycle. So I'm keeping my eyes open for this, right? I mean, I think this is still a very good opportunity. I'm willing to take the risk if it drops to $100 or even $50. Not right now because I don't think this downtrend is over. Even if it does rally, I don't think it's going to go up to the prior all-time high. And even if it does, at the very slim chance, who's to say that it'll stop, continue pushing up? That's going to be a resistance zone. A lot of traders who bought above $400, $500, they want to get out at break even, right? So it's a selling pressure. When price gets up here, there's a lot of selling pressure because traders are like, okay, finally I get a chance to get out, and that can add, resistance and drop down the price. So that's basically the overall story for MSTR. Still bearish until proven otherwise. Practically in a confirmed downtrend, confirmed top. 99%. You can't be certain. You can't have 100% certainty in the market. 99% sure that this is the top. But I think a pullback is coming soon. So don't expect to be surprised if you see like a huge reversal because I've been saying that's coming. It's coming into the zone where we can see something like that, something like this occur. Maybe back up to the 237 level. Retest that breakout zone. So that's what I see for MSTR. Bitcoin, on the other hand, still bullish, even though, yes, we did see a huge drop. It's still making significant higher highs, higher lows. It's definitely showing signs of weakness. This is super overextended towards the downside. Maybe it wants to test 78,000, maybe even break down to the mid-70s. But a bounce is coming, right? Again, nothing moves in a straight line. This is very aggressive. It's unsustainable. I've looked at charts long enough. Anything moving at this angle lower is not going to be lasting that much longer. So not that much longer. I know that's probably what people have been hearing for a while now, but you got to just give it a little bit more time to play out. I think this is trying to come back down to the $78,000 level, and then we'll see some sort of bounce. As quickly as we went down, it is possible to go back up the same speed. So it wouldn't be out of the question to see a new all-time high within a relative short amount of time. If you use your measuring tool, let me see where that is again. I think it's right over here. So we will use the date range from the high to current price. That's about 46 bars. So let's move that over to get back up to the prior high. So from right now, 46 bars later, it takes you to January 6th, right? So as quickly as we went down, we can see a new all-time high or very close to it by the end of the year, right? It can be like a V-bottom reversal. Let me take a look at this. Can I copy these bars and then inverse it? Let me see. Flipped. Yeah, something like this. We can just take the drop that we already had, flip it on itself, and then boom. Like it takes about that much time to go back up. So I mean, it's not over till it's over, and this is not showing signs of being over, right? I'm still giving it the benefit of the doubt. It's definitely not showing very good signs, but I mean, this is still a lot more bullish than MSTR. I think MSTR, yes, it probably will rally, but not as much. Just like Metaplanet is toast, it dropped like 80%. Even if Bitcoin does rally, it's so damaged where it's only going to rally maybe 10% or 15%. Same thing for MSTR. I think Bitcoin's going to crash one more time. MSTR crashes one more time, and then it pulls back to the 230 level, retested that, and then it goes down while Bitcoin goes up to new all-time highs, and then it finally starts going down. So we'll see what happens. I think that's what's likely to occur. But Bitcoin's still hanging in there, right? Like I said before, you just flip this drop on itself. We can get a new all-time high very close to the end of the year, if and maybe even a Q1, right? January. And it might not even stop there. I think a lot of traders are going to be scared to hold on. They might start getting out, and then it starts ripping up higher without them. And that's a good story to tell, right? We'll see if that happens. What is happening right now is very bearish, right? So we can't deny that it is bearish, but it is approaching support. Low 80s, high 70s is support. We're almost there. We even tapped the $83,000 level. This is unsustainable, timing based. It's due for a bounce very soon, right? This is a very extended decline. So everything is lining up for a bounce, right? We're just waiting for that. It's impossible to say when. So that's what Bitcoin's looking like. Volatility for Bitcoin is going up. I think this is a good sign. Why is it a good sign? Because we need volatility to reverse the stock, or not the stock, reverse the commodity, the asset, right? If it was lower volatility, you can call it dead, right? Because we might just get a very weak bounce, and then just roll over. But with the volatility going up, that might not occur, right? I think this might continue to spike up higher, which can lead to that V bottom reversal that I'm expecting. So I think this is a good sign. The volatility increasing. Bitcoin against gold, right? Gold's price about Bitcoin's price. Gold just had a huge pop up. Again, just keep on pumping up higher. It's kind of like a blow off top, so it could be coming down for a crash down. Do I have a measurement target? Nah, we can take a look at, as long as it doesn't break above this high right here, we can measure that leg, because this is all 2 legs down, 1 leg, 2 legs, target met, and now it's correcting. You can draw this over, something like that. So yeah, we can still see a huge outperformance against gold in the coming future. So let's take a look at the chart against Bitcoin's price divided by MSTR's price. Bitcoin's still outperforming. You can see that the trend is getting higher and higher, with the highest point we have seen since basically September of 2024, right? August of 2024. So it's continuing to move up higher. I think this is ready to just reverse strongly. So we'll see what happens. But that's all I have for today. We went over Bitcoin, MSTR. MSTR, I still really like it long term, but I look at the charts. I want to buy it at the best price I can get it at. And right now, it doesn't look like I can get it at the best price I can get it at, right? And when it starts getting at the $100, I'm going to be pretty enticed to start averaging in maybe a little bit. And then obviously it's better to wait for a trend reversal, or at least a bottoming pattern. But I think $100 might be a good spot. $50 would be really good if we can come back in this box, which I have drawn for the past week now. If we can get to the $50 level, that might be possible as well. Again, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, that's not possible." Well, you don't know the market as long as I have. And if you have any guarantees, you're gonna get wiped out. And I'm not gonna be the one who has to teach you the lesson, because the market's gonna have to teach you a lesson. You either teach yourself or the market will, right? Either one's gonna happen. So if you don't think $50 is possible, then you're in for a rude awakening when it does happen, because you thought the market was incapable of doing that, when it is capable of doing anything. So right now it's still tracking lower. No bounces in sight, but it is near. Pullback possible to 230s. We'll see what happens from there. I think it's overall still a very bearish looking chart. Bitcoin, on the other hand, still bullish, but we can't give it the benefit of the doubt much longer, right? I think if by the end of the year we don't see a strong bounce, basically it's practically over, because by then we should be back up to the at least back up the $100,000 level if it wanted to make a new high, right? If it takes by the end of the year to not make a new high, or at least back up the $100,000 level, then you could pretty much call it quits, right? Because it's just running out of time. It's been dragged on for a very long time, right? A trend is not going to continue moving up. Basically, since November of 2022, it's been going up, right? So it's not going to go up forever. You're going to see deeper pullbacks and different market states. So that's all I have for today. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.